Being Black in America comes with its challenges. However, we understand that enlightenment through education is the oppressor's worst fear. By bridging the gap between academia and the people, our purpose is to equip you with knowledge that breaks down barriers during your journey towards truth and freedom. Welcome to the Black and Highly Dangerous Podcast.
Yo, Daph. Hello. What's going on? Everything good?
Everything is fabulous. Still just trying to wrap my mind around the fact that we only have a few more days left in 2021.
Yes. Thinking of these past 2 years have run like a blur and been like together. It's been hard for me to separate 2020 and 2021.
Yes, I agree. I think one of the reasons that mine feels a little bit different is because I had a major move. But outside of that, I think it probably, especially if I was still in Peoria, I probably wouldn't be able to tell 1 week from the other.
Those major events. And this year flew by. I'm trying to think like, dang, it's already 2022. What did I do in 2021? Trying to reflect. I mean, I'm sure I've done a lot. But time be flying. It flies by. We'll talk about 2022 in a second, but I just want to take a moment to remind our listeners, mentioned this last week, Daph and I are going to be on a little holiday break. Those of you who have been longtime listeners know that we take a little break probably twice a year, once in the summer, once in the winter, where we pre-record some episodes. And that gives us an opportunity to catch up, refresh, spend time with family, get some other to-do items off our plate, et cetera, so that way we always stay recharged and ready to, give you all this content and continue with this commitment. So this is just one of those time periods that we have some episodes. Again, every episode will still be released every week. New episodes, new content. Only thing that'll change will be there's just no Oh Lord news and updated news segments and all that kind of stuff. We will return live at the last Wednesday of January. So, set your calendars for that. But I'm sure you all will be tuning in. We'll continue to remind you all when we'll be back, and we'll have our Oh Lord news and some pretty cool announcements of things that we're thinking about doing for 2022 as well with BHD. So stay tuned for that. So moving forward, today's episode, we just want to really take time to plan and discuss what our intentions are for 2022. And so Dav has found some really cool reflective questions, thinking about what we would like to see happen in 2022. And I think this is a good guide for all of us and our listeners included. These are questions you can ask yourselves as you're preparing to head into the new year and really kind of, focus on what you are wanting to do and accomplish. So, Daph, what are some? We'll start. You can tell us a little bit about these questions, and then we can ask ourselves live on air what our answers are.
Yeah. So, every year, rather than making New Year's resolutions, I try to be reflective of not only the past year, but really think deeply about what I want the next year to look like. And it's not like resolutions as in like I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to do this. I think about, the next year in terms of like the lifestyle that I want to live for myself, like who I want to be as a person and what I want my overall life to look like. I think it's important, like before you can think about that future, you should think about, what were some of the good things from this past year that you really want to move forward, things you're proud of, and things that you want to continue with. So, maybe we can start right there, Tyrell, like, looking at 2021, what are some of the things you are proud of? Some of what they can be habits, it can be family related. Like what was really good about 2021? Because we know all the crazy things and we talk about them every month in our current events episode. But what are some things from 2021 that really make you smile?
Yeah, I would say, of course, one of my biggest, similar to you, like you had a big move. I think my biggest ticket item this past year was definitely receiving tenure promotion. That is definitely, puts 2020 years kind of etched forever now in my personal history and my timeline of the year I achieved tenure after all those years of hard work, being able to, accomplish that task, which I don't think this is the kind of crazy thing I think also with a lot of um, Black academics as well, is that I don't think I really took the time to think about like the odds of this happening for my demographic in particular, folks who look like me. I think because we're in this space, it's kind of expected, but it is a long journey, and just getting it as a Black man in this time and age, I think is definitely something I should definitely reflect on and just appreciate a little bit more. Like, this wasn't something that was as common in our community. And, I don't think I had the time, because you just hustling and bustling and all this other kind of stuff, to really just sit down and be like, oh, wow, this actually happened. And I'm in rare company with this kind of thing. So I think that's one thing for sure. And then also, because 2020 was wild for a lot of reasons, had a baby and then a pandemic, bought a house. Physically, I just kind of like, listen, I can't, there's something got to go, and I can't keep up with working out and going to the gym. So I would say that year and a half, I really just like let myself go so many different ways when it came to health, just eating and not being in shape and working out. And so I started midway through 2021, in the spring, late spring, getting back into the gym and starting there. And I would say since then, I've been consistent every week, hitting the gym consecutively, at least 2-3 times a week minimum. And that's something definitely I want to carry that momentum into 2022. We could talk a little bit about that later as well. And then finally, just really, and I would say because so much was happening in 2020, I really made sure to be intentional with my time spent with family, particularly like my wife and daughter, and really just stopping things like when my daughter wants to play or my daughter wants my attention. I put my laptop down, I put my phone down, or pause the TV and, get on the floor, roll around, read books, talk to her. And that's been like just a really just rich experience that, gave me a lot of happiness and peace, and definitely, of course, something that I want to continue as a dad moving forward. But I would say that's something that that has stuck out to me a little bit more so in 2021, because in 2020 she was still young, she was a baby, right? She was like crawling and not really moving too much. And then early 2021, middle 2021, she started to like crawl and now walk and like try to speak and wants to do things, and so is more active. So I would say that has been a change, with my parenting a little bit, of being that active parent, because you have an active toddler now, and just making sure you're being intentional with your time and giving them their attention as well. So I would say those would be the three main things reflecting on 2021 that stick out to me, that I remember, and are just, good vibes, good feelings moving into 2022.
No, that's awesome. And I can definitely see that with Maya making you run around. Really proud that, you got on your health kick, thinking about my 2021. I tried to do the same. It started out really slow. It was probably mid 2021, around June, that I really got serious again about my health. I dropped about 12 pounds over the last 6 months. And, I still have a little bit to go, because part of my weight was I did a dissertation and I gained a good 10 pounds then. And then, my dissertation, I finished that literally 3 weeks before the COVID-19 pandemic hit the United States. And so I then gained like another 10 pounds. And so I've been like struggling with like dissertation weight, COVID weight, but I feel good because I haven't been perfect at all. There have been weeks where, I fell off the bandwagon, but I continue coming back to it. And I have at least solidly maintained the weight that I lost like in the second part of the year. Because this last few months since moving been a struggle. So I ain't lost nothing since then, but I've at least maintained. So that feels good. And I got the Peloton. And so I want to keep that habit. One thing I really liked about the Peloton app is that like they keep track of your streaks. And the streaks don't just have to be about cardio and riding the bike. I get points for meditation because they have like yoga and meditation, all of these different things. And so thinking about my health more holistically is something that I have done for the latter part of this year. And I'm really proud of that. Of course, things really turned around for me. So I graduated in 2020 without a job in the middle of a pandemic. Opportunities were falling through because people were really afraid of, funding issues and money. And I really was uncertain about my academic future coming into 2021. I didn't know what was going to happen. I really didn't. And I was preparing for what life would look like without using my PhD for a position as a professor. And wow, things really turned around because in March, I received a 3-year postdoc from an amazing institution. And I was just really looking forward to getting settled in here and, living my life in Philadelphia for the next 3 years. And then another opportunity presented itself. And for those who listened last week, that I accepted an offer to become an assistant professor at Vanderbilt. The lucky thing is I get to spend another academic year in Philadelphia. I don't start that position until 2023. So I still get to make the most of my postdoc while knowing and having a little bit of certainty around my future, the best thing I could have asked for. Those were some of my big wins and things that I'm really proud of. Of course, as a team, Tyrell and I, in the middle of a pandemic, edited a book. Because those chapters did not come in until this year. We started reviewing that chapters in like March, and between March and about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were editing, revising, feedback to get the book published. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to in 2022 because it'll come out sometime then.
Yeah, I can. Oh my God, yeah, I don't forget about that one. That was definitely another big ticket item for 2021. First book ever, right, for both of us. So definitely was a learning experience, fun experience, and just an experience in general. Moving forward with those kind of things, and really, really excited to see that final product of we see the cover and we see the final proofs and seeing that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's almost here. It's almost here. So definitely the goal is it should come out hopefully very early 2022. But yeah, we'll keep y'all all posted on that because that's our little 2021, baby was working on all year.
Yes. Baking that book. 10 months. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. All right, let's get to some of these questions that you have for us.
Yeah,
that I think are really, really good.
Okay, so last year I started trying to think about not a resolution, but like forward looking into the new year based on a word that I wanted to, kind of categorize or characterize my life for the year. And I think last year it was like balanced. I wanted to balance things. And so I kind of want to do that again to have like a theme or word for the year. And so that's kind of what I want to start with. So Tyrell, what is your word that will characterize your life and the way you operate in 2022?
Yeah, I think the word it's been on my mind for a couple of weeks thinking what I wanted to go into in 2022 is value. And of course that can mean a lot of different things. For me personally, it's raising my value in a lot of different ways.
They better recognize.
Raising it professionally with things and big projects and ambitious projects that I have lined up that I hope, to share with you all soon in 2022 once certain things fall into place. That's just been something that's been in the back of my mind. I've been kind of going with the flow with a lot of things academically and have had opportunities in different ways. And maybe it's a little bit of chip on my shoulder too when I've had certain conversations, and whether folks are interested in me for various professional opportunities and things like that. And they always recognize, my potential, and they always recognize the things that I've done so far. but are always a little hesitant to pull a trigger. And so, that's been kind of sticking with me a little bit. Like, you know what? All right, let me do what I do, and switch things up a little bit heading into 2022, kind of walking into it with that mindset of getting busy in various different ways.
Like back then, they didn't want down hot. They all on
exactly. And it's been a lot of opportunities that have been like right there, and it's just I can tell that. Again, a lot of times folks just they want to see more. But then it's also too, like, I have this in the back of my mind, like, okay, when I do show you my value, don't come running back, right? When you had the opportunity to catch me then. That's definitely, and then value in a lot of other ways. Like we talk about health, we talk about relationships. I'm not just saying I want to increase my value to my family or my friends, but just value those things even more so, and dedicating more intent. Even though I've been intentional with it, continue to doing that as well, because those things are valuable. I know we talked about last week at the end of the episode of just, life is short, and you got to kind of prioritize things that you value and the time you spend in those things, because time is just very important in a lot of different ways, and the attention you give things, and being more, especially now that I'm post tenure, I think I have a little bit more autonomy and power in that way of saying, you know what, now I'm not doing this. Now I'm not doing this because, I'm hanging with my daughter today. Oh no, I want to relax today, and just really being intentional what I choose and not feeling bad about saying no. I've started that a little bit in 2021, but that's definitely going to be a major thing for me going into 2022. So value is my key word for 2022.
I love it. And, I'm excited to see all that you have planned for 2022. And just know, as your friend, as co-host of this podcast, I'm here to support you in any way.
I always appreciate that.
Yes. So my word for 2022 is sowing, as in like sowing a seed, or the process of planting a seed. And I'm thinking about this in all aspects of my life. So I just got this job, and, one interesting thing, this is for the audience, about tenure track jobs is, some of the work that you do before you start the job might not actually count toward earning tenure. So I want to get where Tyrell is now. And so I already know that, like, the articles and books I've already published or that are about to be published won't actually get me that associate professor title. The work that I do over the next 1.5 years, like, if it is actually published before I start, it won't count. Like, it won't count in the sense that they won't say, oh, if you need 10 publications, then, this is one of them. It'll count in terms of, like, if it has a broad impact of, my work. For me, given that the publishing process takes forever anyway, I am sowing seeds by actually doing the work. Although it won't count now, I'm still going to be writing my behind off to try to write as many articles as I can, and, get really good feedback. Good feedback can take a long time. So I won't necessarily submit them this year, but I'm planting or, sowing those seeds so that when I am ready to hit submit, it can count for, later, and I can harvest those, the seeds that I planted in terms of actually earning tenure from the work I'm doing right now. So yeah, I'm thinking about it like that. Personal life, in terms of like sowing seeds, like, John and I on January 1st will actually be celebrating our 4-year wedding anniversary, which is so wild to me. But it's also sowing the seeds to ensure that, we remain like strong and healthy in terms of, if we do want to have children, it's really important for our relationship to be solid and good. So it's like making sure we're having date night, making sure we're still really investing in each other in terms of our relationship and getting to know the people that we are now. We've been dating since we were like 25, and, John is already 36. I'm about to turn 36. We evolved. And so we have to continue getting to know who we are. Because if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, then, that might not be the best of things. And so it is sowing the seeds in my relationship to ensure when we welcome a bundle of joy in the world that we are super duper solid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's important. No, that's important. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's important.
And I think also sowing seeds in terms of like other relationships I have, considering the fact that, the work I do now, not that I have to slow down, but that the work that I do now, I know I have a while to actually get it under review. It's like I want to sow into friendships and relationships that, maybe became a little distant as, we grow older, we get jobs, we're pursuing our careers. That PhD struggle was real. And not that you don't love each other, but you can grow, apart a bit. So sowing the seeds into other relationships that are really important to me, and like sowing these financial seeds because I want to buy a house in 2023. So I need to be putting some money away, trying to do some investing, trying to learn from Tyrell on that front. So it's just like, what can I do now to set myself up for a bomb 2023?
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that future thinking. And yeah, a lot of people don't think of it that way. You have these plans, 3, 4, 5 year, 10-year plans, but the process start earlier than when you don't wait till year 9 to start doing that stuff. You start doing it now. It helps, especially for the next more immediate future, next 2 years or so. Yeah, that's a good thought, mind frame to be in.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just thinking like, if I want something to come out in my first year, what's crazy, y'all, and I'm talking to the audience, is that if I wanted something to come out the 2023-2024 academic year, I actually should be writing it right now because it takes so long for articles to come out. So
you need at least a year buffer. Yes. A year buffer usually.
Yes. Okay, so the next question, and you can also leave with the questions too. What is one change you would like to make to your lifestyle that would give you more peace?
Yeah, for me, this is an easy one. This is something I was doing a lot before the pandemic hit. That pandemic just kind of threw me off track in a lot of different ways. But I mean, not just the pandemic, like I said, having a baby, purchasing a home, all this kind of stuff, trying to get tenure. It was just through me kind of like my normal routine of things that kept me and gave me a lot of structure and peace kind of went out. And that's why I say even earlier when I said it's 2020 and 2021, just like a blur for me, because I've just been all over the place and I haven't been grounded as much as I normally am. And so that's definitely a top 2, top 3 goal for me heading into 2022 is to bring myself more peace. And the way I used to do it and the way I'm definitely going to start doing it as soon as 2022 begins is going back to my morning meditations and yoga. Like that had made so much of a change for me, just the way I started out my days with more guidance, with that kind of peace, that energy, that positivity, those affirmations. And yeah, it's just a perfect start to my day. And it just gives me peace throughout the rest of the day. Starting my morning is always something I look forward to doing. Nice little stretch, nice little 15, 20 minutes or so of just meditating, thinking about things I'm grateful for, thinking about my intentions for the day and saying I'm going to accomplish those things. Always gave me so much peace just having that. It was just about 30 minutes or so in the morning before the wife gets up, before the baby gets up. Me just get out of bed and doing that it's a game changer for me. And so that's definitely something that I'm 100% getting back to in the start of 2022.
No, I like that. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I did start meditating. I haven't quite done the yoga yet because, stretching is hard. I mean, it shouldn't be, but it's really hard. But I do like the idea that you start your day with, the yoga and meditation. One thing I started to do, I haven't been doing it consistently, is instead of like feeling like I have to do like this big long workout like once a day, like 30, 45 minutes, I have been like breaking things up. And one thing I've really liked is starting my morning with like a 10-minute warm up. Like it's like a
Mm-hmm.
Peloton, treadmill walk. And like one, I like the people that I like, the instructors that I like are really motivational. So you hear some good music. It just like warms up your body, your blood is circulating. And it's not necessarily about exercising per se, but it's about like starting your day with yourself in mind and your own health in mind. And so I like that. Maybe I can start with a meditation in bed and then my little 10-minute warm up walk. So I might do that. But the other thing in terms of giving my own self peace, you mentioned it earlier about like the no's and stuff like that. I have the tendency to try to be everything to everybody. Like I want to show up for everything. And I really need to learn how to say no. And so I think I'm going to start leading with let me think about that and truly think about it before I give like immediate yeses to people because I'm so interested in just being there for everybody and participating in everything. I say yes to everything, and I usually end up putting myself on the back burner and my own stuff on the back burner. So it's not that I'll necessarily say no, but I'm going to give myself time to think about what it means for me and the other priorities I have.
No, that's important. Yeah, again, I think that's it gets lost a lot of times of just putting yourself first. And for folks who are givers, folks who care and compassionate, it's tough to just that's not your kind of automatic reaction is to be like no, right? That takes work because most of the time, I want to help. Oh yeah, this looks good. Let's do it. And you say yes, but I think it's being conscious of that and that'll happen. And I think it's just good practice now and getting folks used to it because whenever you and John have this baby, trust it's going to be way easier to say no to a lot of things. When folks come around like, nah, I got this. No, I got this baby. No, I just want to sleep. All this kind of stuff is going to happen. And so, yeah, warming up to it now. Then when it happens, it may not shock as many people when that child comes around of thinking about things or saying no or taking a little extra time than you did previously.
No, that makes sense. I could definitely see that the baby being a great way to start incorporating the no practice into
Mm-hmm.
your life.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly, and even going back to the most and the reason one of the reasons I started, and again, the yoga I do in the mornings isn't like full workout yogas. It's kind of like morning, wake up, stretch, get the blood flowing a little bit. Like 12, 15-minute kind of yoga sessions. And one of the reasons I had started doing that a couple years ago is because when I see the interviews of a lot of famous people who are very successful, I would say 9 out of 10 times, a lot of them always talk about this morning routine they have, or a lot of them do this like reflection or some meditation or some quiet time for mental space to get them ready for the day. And they do like either they do a full workout or a quick stretch or a little bike ride or a walk, getting the blood or doing some push-ups I've heard. And so that combination seems to give folks a lot of clarity moving forward. And that's kind of one of the reasons I started incorporating that with the meditation. It was like, okay, let me get my blood flowing, get the body moving and meditate, etc. And this has been a practice with a lot of the folks who are like extremely successful. And if they're putting a blueprint out there of what it takes to be successful, why not, give it a shot, starting your days off that way. So I say all to say that, yeah, that little 5-10 minute little Peloton ride definitely fits right into that category. It doesn't have to be a full, blown sweaty, getting busy workout that early in the morning. Just getting something to wake your body up a little bit is more than enough.
I completely agree.
So I'll flip the third question to you. And this question is, what major indulgence are you willing to experience in 2022?
Well, I'm a food person, and so I don't know if this will necessarily be a new indulgence in the sense that, we all eat food. I don't know where the pandemic is going to take us. But one thing I want to continue doing, which Philadelphia, I think, makes it easy to do because there are about to start requiring like you to show proof of vaccination for things is I want to really move full force on my Philadelphia food tour. Philadelphia has amazing food. And so I want to try every single restaurant possible. I don't know if I'm going to try to come up with a numeric goal, like maybe 52 new restaurants for the 52 weeks of the year. I might do something like that because I really want to say that I had a taste of Philly before I left.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, take advantage, especially because you're leaving. You definitely want to at least get the full Philly experience while you're out there.
Yeah.
Because like most major cities, but Philly in particular got some good eats out there. So that sounds like a good one.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, it is the number one. And I need a vacation. I need to get away for a week, hopefully two. Is the goal. Probably more so early mid fall is what I'm looking at. Of just getting away, and because it's been a while since I've had a vacation, and as we already discussed, so much has happened. I think it's been almost 3 years since I've been anywhere, like vacation oriented wise, and so I'm like craving. I need it. It's always been, me and Kristen have gone on vacation at least once or twice a year since we've been together. And it's always just been a great, just pull back, get away, disconnect from everything and everybody, and just, have my little drinks, read my little books on the beach, take a little dip, eat. And that is always just a major, major recharge for me. So that's definitely like number one on the list, figuring out, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it now that we have this child on the way. Child now, not on the way. Hopefully soon we'll have a child on the way in 2022 is the goal, trying to give Maya a little sibling. But that is the goal, trying to figure out how we can, sneak a vacation in there moving forward. So we'll see.
Sounds like y'all trying to sow some seeds too.
Yeah, sow some seeds. It's time. Like I said, Maya be on the move, and we like, you need a brother or sister to help you with all this energy.
That is funny. Funny. Yeah, all you have to do at that point, you just become referee. What y'all doing in there?
Exactly.
Turn it down in there. Yeah. I can see that.
Exactly.
That's funny. Okay, so I will do the next one, which Tyrell actually picked this one, and I think it's a good one. What gift would you want to give yourself this year?
Oh, this is a good one. I guess I could have easily said the vacation would have been a gift. But I would say that a gift that I want to give myself, you know what? This is the gift, and that I'll be working, is because I will be turning 35 this summer. And so this is something that I really, really just want to hit my weight goal. Like I said, I started last year and my goal was to drop 50. And since I started, I've dropped half of that. And so I would love, like that's the biggest gift to myself, and something that's the goal and deadline I'm pushing for, is to drop that other 25 by my 35th birthday in July. And that'll just mean a lot to me. Just like, okay, all that stress weight, all that COVID weight, baby weight, whatever, 10-year weight is all off me. And here I am, starting this next phase of life, back at it, refreshed, recharged, and kind of renewed in a lot of different ways. So that's a big gift I'm working right now, and I will hit by my 35th birthday of giving that gift to myself.
I think that is an awesome gift to yourself. I love the idea of gifting health to yourself. Also, I just want to congratulate you on all the work that you have done thus far. Like, you should really be applauding yourself, Tyrell. I'm happy for and proud of you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that the health thing, it's my first half of the year was just to dedicate myself to like working out and getting back in shape. Now, going to 2022 was going to be the diet. That's always the tough part for me. But that, because I know this is the goal and the gift I'm trying to give myself, I'm definitely going to be very disciplined with my diet heading into my birthday. So, because I know that's my weak area. Working out really isn't my weak area, but definitely eating right can be my weak area.
That's my weak area as well. I have no issues, like you said, working out. I I love food though.
Yeah.
And if something tastes good, I'm gonna want like another bite or a whole
Hmm.
another piece. And so I really got to
Hmm.
work on, my ability to deny myself temptation.
Hmm. That's tough. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Hmm. So my gift to myself this year will actually be my doctoral regalia
Mm.
because if all goes well, it seems like my university will actually be offering us a graduation.
Oh,
So the
nice.
class of 2020 and the class of 2021, they'll have a graduation a few days after the class of 2022. And so this means a lot to me to be able to go to this and finally, I feel like experience closure around that journey. Because although
Hmm.
I did
Hmm.
graduate, it just wasn't the same. I wasn't
Yeah.
hooded. I didn't, I want my flowers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's going to be like a good $1,000 to like $1,200, but it'll be mine. And I'm going to be so excited. And now I have a use for it because you really don't need your own regalia unless you're on faculty. Like renting it probably makes sense for most people.
Hmm.
But I did hear that my future department, they have like an annual photo with all the faculty members in their regalia. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that for myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When we see these graduations, all the faculty have yeah, where they got the degrees from that special regalia, and they have their kind of unique robes and stuff like that. So that'll be cool to have your own. Because I know that stuff is pricey, y'all. I know some of y'all may not, understand how much that is. I remember when I was graduating, I looked at that price. I was like, maybe later. So that is definitely a big and pricey gift to give to yourself, and of course, well deserved because you want to have that moment. And hopefully, everything pans out so you get it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the photos are gonna come. I might even give myself like a photo shoot or something like that. Because it seems like me and a bunch of my friends will be coming back to do this. So I can't wait to turn up with my friends.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. That's always fun. That's always fun. And we probably, this is something that's been on my mind, especially since you moved back in the Philly area. And we know we got a lot of Purdue folk out in DC. Is we gotta do some kind of like Purdue connection. Because everyone's only a couple hours away from each other. So it should be easy to do. Hopefully we can accomplish that in 2022. Choose a weekend, get in touch with everybody and say, let's just kick it. Say what's up. It's been a minute. I think that's now definitely more manageable now than it has been in the past. Something we can think
I
about.
just said the same thing to Brittany. She congratulated me, and I was like, "Look, I'm in Philly. We need to figure it out." I think that would be like so dope.
Oh man,
I want to do
that'll be
it.
so fun. That's gonna be so fun. Yeah. I think we need to make that happen. Maybe we'll think about it for a little summer thing. We know folks will have a little more flexibility in time, and choosing a weekend to just get together and catch up.
We just got to do it before Shayna have her little one.
Yeah. Or we could do it after, right? Because she is supposed to be March.
Oh, okay. Oh, dang, that's so
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
summer.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 3 months. Yeah. That'll give us some time to get ready and at least find a babysitter.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay. And then, so we got this last question. It's a triumph question, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to be your biggest triumph by the end of 2022?
Okay, so I have been thinking about this, and I really would like to have a draft. It don't have to be perfect. It don't have to be pretty, but a draft of my dissertation related book. For me, it's important that I actually have that draft before I start the tenure track because I want it to become like, there are a lot of you have the review process, a lot of revisions. And to me, I would prefer not to have to like think of all the words from scratch while I'm teaching. Revising is a different story and it's just as difficult in terms of like the different aspects of the writing process. But if I can have a draft so that I actually know the directions, I would be really happy with that.
No, that's big. That's good. That's a big project. And having a solid draft for that is definitely, I would consider a major triumph for 2022.
Yeah, the way I'm thinking about it is, it'll probably be about 6 or 7 chapters, which could change. But it's just kind of like, if I can do that and then have drafts of about 3 articles, I would be solid for my 4th year review on the tenure track. Like, you get what I'm saying? And so once I actually start the tenure track, I'm thinking about, okay, what comes after that 4th year review rather than what comes during it. So that's the way I'm thinking about it.
That is a superb strategy.
Thank you.
That is a superb strategy.
You.
To know that you have that first half of your tenure track, solid and planned out. And then now you're spending, that first half now thinking about that second half, and gives you that cushion of getting things into play. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And most of the time that second half is starting new projects that's going to kind of just overflow into your post tenure. Or new ideas and things that you're thinking about, like, okay, now this was my dissertation work. This was for me to just get the degree, now get my publications. Now it's like, what do I really want to do that I have full control? And I think that's what you'll probably be thinking about that second half, but that's a really, really good strategy. And folks should take notes for anybody in those similar positions or going into it. That's something I think would be very helpful and cause a lot less stress during that tenure process, which is already crazy stress.
Yeah.
But knowing having a solid game plan makes it a lot easier.
Thank you. I mean, those were my questions. Like, that's, what I started asking, like, when do you come up for review? Like, how many articles? And of course, people don't give you like exact numbers and stuff like that. But like, they'll give you an idea. And so it's kind of like the book will be the most important thing, but books take a long time sometimes to come out. And so you would want articles coming out as the book is being like, going through the process. So that's where like, if I can draft 3 articles and then have a draft of the book to start submitting stuff in 2023, I think I might be all right.
Oh no, you will be. You'll be very good. So that's some good stuff. For me, I think it's a similar fashion. I think, like I said, it kind of goes along with my theme of raising my value. And I think, in our world professionally, it's through writing, and of course research. And so, definitely having there's 2 major research projects that I'm looking to start in 2022. And I want them to be like underway and moving, definitely by the end of the year. And I definitely would like to also, with my writing, is diversify it in ways, because folks have been telling me for years, and it's mainly because I just been focused on the tenure track, that I really didn't dabble into it, but start writing more public scholarship, if you will, op-eds. I recently reached out. I was recently reached out to by the editor of Footnotes, ASA magazine, to do a article in February for the spring issue. And at first I was like, I don't know. This is a different world for me. And I thought about like, you know what? Put yourself out there, be a little uncomfortable, try something new. And so I said yes to that as well. So that, and it's coming out, it'll be a 2022 project. And it's kind of the start of me getting used to writing outside of academia, right? And that kind of lingo, and for more public scholarship. And so,
but the great
I want to see some of those
still
things.
Connected to ASA.
Also true, right? So it kind of overlaps and killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so to say. So I think I want to do that, and then I hopefully have, like I said, a op-ed out somewhere at some point in time in 2022, and that'd be a really cool triumph, really cool. Again, going along with my value theme of just raising my value a little bit and having some fun and doing the way I want to. I think that's the cool thing about post tenure.
Yes. I just have to say, Tyrell, I am so proud of you in terms of earning tenure. Like, y'all just don't know how few Black faculty members actually earn tenure. Like how few there are who, one, get tenure track positions. So that was already a hurdle right there. And then actually to make it to the next step and earn tenure, that was so big. And I definitely look forward to what, your scholarship and public scholarship look like as you work toward full professorship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Full professor, next big step. And I'm excited. This phase, I would say this post tenure phase, you really don't know how it is till you get there. And it's definitely more exciting because now it's just like, yo, I can do what I want to do as a scholar, as a professional. And I know you'll be there soon one day, Daph. And also, like I said, this cannot be taken lightly. And I want to make sure to say this loud and clear that, I'm very proud of you as a friend, as a colleague, as a partner, all this kind of stuff, because you have taken almost a road less traveled in so many different ways, from leaving undergrad and teaching for America, and then coming, getting your master's and coming to Purdue and doing all that kind of stuff, and then taking that big leap of leaving Purdue, and then going to Harvard, right, you were an inaugural cohort, right, of that program, which has a lot of I wouldn't say cautionary tape, right? When you're doing something like that, hey, you're leaving one program that's already structured.
Absolutely, it was.
You know what the end goal is. You're going to get out to go into something brand new, and taking that leap and being a part of that inaugural cohort of Harvard's program in education and getting that doctorate. And I know, and I want to say this too, because I know it can be tough sometimes because you're looking at folks who you left Purdue with and other places, like, they're getting the degrees, they're getting these jobs, they're getting all this kind of stuff. And
y'all all got tenure now, like for real.
And you did it with your own, in your own way, followed your own path. And it's definitely like, I'm looking at the rewards you have reaped as a result of that hard work, not just your resume and credentials of these top of the line institutions from Harvard to now UPenn to Vanderbilt, and all the wonderful work and the accolades people are saying about your work that hasn't even been released yet, and the anticipation for it. I mean, you chose the Daphne path, and it was definitely the right path. So kudos and congrats to you. You're definitely seeing you get this job. I was telling Chris, I'm like, yo, this is so inspiring. When you see your friends winning, it's just like, yeah, we got this. And now let's keep winning together and, flip this world upside down and let them know that, we here to stay and we ain't here to play.
It's so funny that you say that, because I don't know how many times I've told John, like, if I had just stayed at Purdue, I would be done with this right now. Or if I had just stayed at Purdue, I'd already be a professor right now. Or if I had just stayed at Purdue, I might have tenure right now. Because I have, watched all of my friends, graduate and go on to like awesome careers. That's one thing I can say. If you wanted a tenure track position at Purdue, it seemed like everybody got one. And I see everybody flourishing now. Even my line sister, Heather, I was just texting her and she just, she got tenured, and it's just like everybody from Purdue doing big things, and to see that and be genuinely happy for everyone, but just questioning whether I made the right decision, considering the fact that I see everyone already living the dreams that I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, that's real. I knew what you was about to say, and I'm like, yes, because I questioned it, and even like questions about leaving sociology, because I see how the job market operates, and because I got my PhD in education, but I'm very much still a sociologist, and seeing how in the social world you can go from a social PhD to an education, assistant professorship. You can't always go back and forth if you got the education PhD. So wondering did I close off my job opportunities by doing the education PhD versus like staying in sociology? And, to be able to like come back to a social department for my postdoc also meant a lot to me.
Yeah. No, perfect story. Your story is your perfect story for sure. And like I said this last week, say it again, when you go to Vanderbilt, you're going to be able to just be such a good example for all of those young, bright, bushy-tailed minds coming your way.
Now I'm gonna be giving them like those stories that you see on TV, like the dads that be like, back in my day, I had to do this, and this. I don't want to hear
Yeah, you definitely gonna be doing that. I find myself doing that too, just because of how much technology has changed compared to when we were in undergrad till now. And I'm like, yo, y'all don't understand how good y'all have it. And I'm sure, folks 10 years prior to us were saying the same thing to us. Like, y'all don't know how good y'all have it. It's just the cycle of life.
No, for real. I still had a floppy disk my freshman year of college.
They don't know about the floppy disk. They don't know about having to actually go to the library and look at your books that you're trying to take out and use in these papers. Because Google, I think Google was there, but it was in the very beginning stages. Nowhere near as good as what we had today. Nothing like Google Scholar and all these kind of online databases. Internet Explorer. It was PowerPoints were not used. In my school, it was a lot of those overhead projectors, a little transparent, papers or whatever you call it, when they were writing on it as they were going. Yeah, transparency sheets. So yeah, time. And again, by the time I got to grad school, it was a completely different ball game. Just in those 4 or 5 years. So now, these new students, we definitely going to be sound like them old aunts and uncles, telling them, but it's still knowledge that is still useful for them today. And shout out to Heather too, because you mentioned Heather. Yeah, we, since we both had kids around the same time, we always be hitting each other up with advice on helping each other out. Like, oh, what you giving your kid when they sick, or what's this, or what's your strategies or tips on this? So we have like this little, kind of a text chain back and forth, questions and advice to help each other out with our babies, because that's a whole that community to raise a child is definitely takes a village to raise a child is definitely a real thing, and you look for that when you have children. And Heather's definitely been a consistent resource for me in that capacity. So shout out to Heather. Outside academia, is also being a good friend and colleague when it comes to those personal life achievements.
That's so awesome.
But yeah, no, this was a very fun episode. I was like this. I know we did stuff like this during the COVID time, and we were asking questions again. I was like doing things like this because it just gives us the space to also have conversation amongst each other, but for our listeners too, to get a little bit more insight about, our personalities and our goals and our ambitions and things like that, which we really don't share a lot on the podcast because of the content we put out. So these are always things I enjoy when we get around to doing them every once in a while.
Absolutely. That's the thing. I feel like somebody mentioned it when we first started. Tyrell and I, we're not only co-hosts, but we're also friends. We've known each other for a long time. So I just enjoy having these conversations and having you all, just see that friendship dynamic. Yeah. So.
Yes. So hopefully you all take some of these questions that we discuss and ask yourself them within the last couple of days of 2021, before we head into 2022. Think about what's important to you. Think about what your ambitions are. What's your word for 2022? What lifestyle change to give you more peace? Peace is very important, especially still dealing with pandemics and a lot of other things in the economy and jobs. Peace is going to be important for you all. So think about those things before you head in 2022, reflect, write them down. That's always important to do too at the start of every year, kind of writing these things down, because a lot of times the things you write down actually happen. So hopefully you all, learn not only a little bit about ourselves about this, but also yourselves too, moving into 2022, and we can all, hit these goals collectively as a family, BHD family, moving forward. And if you haven't yet, please follow us on social media at BHD Podcast is our social media handle. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also visit our website, blackandhollydangerous.com, to keep up all our latest content, ideas, etc. You can also email us, bhdpodcast@gmail.com, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, want to say hello, want to say Happy New Year. We always appreciate hearing from you all, so please contact us. Then you can also, if you haven't, please share us with your friends, share us with your family, and share us with your enemies. And as always, continue to be the oppressor's worst fear.
If you're interested in continuing this and other conversations, visit our website, blackandhighlydangerous.com, to subscribe to our email list, suggest topics, and participate in our discussion forums.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at BHD Podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast on your favorite platform. And as always, continue to be the oppressor's worst fear.